The 2026 NFL Draft didn't just pick future stars, it quietly reshaped the entire league in real time. Franchise quarterbacks were crowned, risky bets were made, and entire defenses were rebuilt in seconds. But one question hangs over everything: which of these future faces will actually survive the pressure? But the real shock didn't come from who was picked, it came from who everyone thought would go first and didn't. The 2026 NFL Draft opened with a move that instantly set the tone for everything that followed, the Las Vegas Raiders going all-in on Fernando Mendoza at number 1 overall. And it wasn't just a pick, it was a declaration that everything in their franchise is about to change overnight. Mendoza arrives with a rare mix of confidence, toughness, and production that made him impossible to ignore. From leading Indiana to a historic season to showing poise in high-pressure moments, he built the kind of resume teams talk themselves into when they're desperate for a leader. But what really pushed him to the top wasn't just arm talent or accuracy. It was the belief that he can take punishment, stand back up, and still deliver when everything around him is collapsing. That's exactly what the Raiders are betting on. A quarterback who doesn't flinch when the pocket breaks. A player who can handle being the face of a franchise that has been searching for stability for years. But that kind of pressure doesn't come with a learning curve, it comes with expectations from day one. And now, every decision in Las Vegas will orbit around one question. Did they just find their future franchise quarterback, or did they just put the entire organization on the shoulders of a player still learning how to carry it? Because in the NFL, being drafted first overall doesn't guarantee success, it guarantees scrutiny. And for Mendoza, that spotlight just turned blinding. But what the Raiders saw as certainty, other teams saw as the beginning of a much bigger debate. The 2026 NFL Draft didn't just open with expectations, it opened with aggression. And no pick showed that more than the New York Jets locking in David Bailey, a pass rusher who has been destroying backfields and rewriting what ready for the NFL actually means. From the moment his name came up, it was clear the Jets weren't interested in waiting for development. They weren't chasing potential 3 years down the line. They wanted disruption right now. Bailey brings exactly that. A first-step explosion that makes tackles panic before the snap is even fully processed, and a motor that doesn't fade when the game gets physical late. He led the FBS in sacks, tied at the top with relentless production, but what really sold teams wasn't just the numbers, it was how he gets them. Speed off the edge, violent hand usage, and a dip-hand drip that feels almost unfair when he times it right. Quarterbacks don't just get pressured, they get erased from the play. But there's still a question hanging over him that scouts won't ignore forever. Can he hold up when offenses start attacking his run defense? Can he stay just as dominant when teams adjust and force him into deeper responsibilities? Because in New York, the expectation isn't growth over time, it's immediate impact. The Jets didn't draft a project, they drafted a weapon. And now the entire defense shifts around one idea: unleash him, or risk wasting a generational pass rush talent in a system that can't keep up. But while the Jets chased chaos on defense, another team made a pick that completely flipped the offensive balance of the entire draft. The moment Jeremiah Love came off the board to the Arizona Cardinals, the entire draft room energy shifted. This wasn't just another running back selection, this was a reminder that the most explosive playmakers in football still don't wait for positional value debates to end. Love has been circling the best player in the class conversation for months. Every time scouts turned on his tape, the same problem showed up for defenses: missed tackles that should not happen, angles that stop working, and a level of sudden explosiveness that turns routine plays into touchdowns. He doesn't just run through space, he bends it. Inside zone, outside runs, screen passes, even broken plays, nothing slows him down. One cut and the defense is reacting instead of attacking. And that's what makes him different from the modern RB debate. It's not just production, it's inevitability. At some point in the game, he will break one. But that's exactly where the controversy starts. In a league that constantly questions the value of drafting running backs early, the Cardinals just made him a centerpiece again. They didn't treat him like a luxury piece, they treated him like an offensive identity shift. Now the pressure flips instantly, because every explosive highlight raises expectations, and every quiet game will bring questions about whether taking a back this high can ever truly be justified. But what the Cardinals called a weapon, others around the league called the start of a heated argument that never really went away. When the Tennessee Titans stepped up to select Carnell Tate, it didn't feel like just another wide receiver pick. It felt like they were making a long-term bet on the future of Cam Ward. Because Tate isn't the loudest name in the class, he isn't the flashiest highlight machine, but what he is might be exactly what young quarterbacks dream of: a technician, a route-running machine, a receiver who wins before the ball is even thrown. Every snap, Tate plays like he already knows the coverage. Sharp breaks, clean stems, zero wasted movement. And when the ball comes his way, it rarely hits the ground. That reliability is what stood out to the Titans more than pure explosiveness. But there's another layer to this pick that makes it even more important. Tennessee isn't just drafting talent, they're building trust for a young quarterback who needs stability, timing, and easy answers. And Tate gives them exactly that: a target who can line up anywhere and still find separation. Still, not everyone is convinced. Some scouts wonder if he has true alpha WR1 dominance or if he's destined to live as a perfect complementary weapon, the kind of receiver who makes offenses smoother but doesn't always take over games. Now the pressure shifts, because every drop, every big catch, every third down conversion will be tied to one expectation. Did the Titans just give Cam Ward his long-term safety net or his future go-to superstar? But what came next in this draft didn't just shape offenses, it started completely rewriting defenses across the league. The defensive side of this draft didn't just evolve, it started mutating in real time. And it began with the New York Giants making a projection-heavy gamble on Arvell Reese, a linebacker whose physical tools scream superstar, even if his instincts are still catching up. Reese is the kind of player scouts can't ignore. Long frame, explosive speed, and the ability to close space like he's running downhill on a straight line. On tape, there are flashes where he looks like he's already too fast for college football. But there are also moments where he's a step late, reading instead of reacting. The Giants aren't drafting a finished product, they're drafting what he could become. Then the Kansas City Chiefs took it even further, trading up for Mansour Dillon, a cornerback built for modern chaos. Sticky in man coverage, smooth in transitions, and fearless when matched against top receivers. The Chiefs didn't wait, they moved up because players like this don't stay on the board. And then came Sonny Styles in Washington, the hybrid that changes everything. Safety speed, linebacker violence, and a frame that lets him line up everywhere. He isn't just a defender, he's a matchup problem built into one body. Together, these picks signal a shift in the NFL. Positionless defense isn't coming, it's already here. But while defenses were being rebuilt on athletic traits alone, the offensive line decisions told a completely different story about how teams actually win games. This is where the draft stopped being about stars and started being about survival. Because while quarterbacks and playmakers grab headlines, the real foundation of every franchise still comes down to what happens in the trenches, and this class made that brutally clear. The Cleveland Browns kicked it off by investing in Spencer Fano, a tackle built to protect the blind side and stabilize an offense that's been inconsistent for years. It wasn't a flashy pick, but it was a necessary one. Cleveland didn't draft for excitement, they drafted for survival. Then the Giants doubled down on that same philosophy with Francis Maui-Noa, a massive offensive lineman brought in to end years of instability up front. Whether he ends up at tackle or guard, the message was simple: fix the protection first, everything else comes later. But not every move was about safety. Jordan Tyson brought the opposite energy to New Orleans, a receiver so talented he can dominate any coverage, but with an injury history that makes every snap feel like a gamble. Elite upside, but constant uncertainty. And that's the tension running through this entire draft. Do you bet on availability and structure, or chase the rare talent that could change everything if it actually holds up? Because in the NFL, potential doesn't win games, but durability might decide who gets to use it. And once you zoom out, this entire draft starts to look less like a set of picks and more like a full-scale power shift across the league.